Hello and welcome back to another edition of our Down and Dirty Mini Movies. This is our short film help series. Video number 9 is coming to you today. Today we're going to be talking a lot about points, how to create points, and different ways to create them. So just general points, points on lines, points to the inner plan, curves, offsets, and more points. Now this is more of an overview for true training. Always revert back to our e-learning website, elearning.topcon.com, and then check out the tons of resources on the My TopCon Now app. And not only can you get that from the app from your phone, but you can grab that from a browser from our TopCon positioning page. Now in creating points, we're first just going to cover a quick overview of some of the options to create points. Then we're going to create points from lines using the enter plan and creating offset points along those lines and different lines, and creating points on lines and on parts of a curve, along the curve and different points of the curve itself. So we're going to be beginning with Magnet Field, and I'm in version 6.1.2 again, job number 9. There's no points whatsoever in this job at this time. I just opened it up, and when you create a job in Magnet Field, it does not create a point automatically just by creating the job. So traditionally you go to Edit, Points, and click Add, type in a point number and the coordinate values, hit OK, and you've saved your point. Now I'm not going to do that at that time. That's one example. Another way that I like is to go to Calculate, and we will check out the enter plan. A lot of people will just start with a brand new job and maybe enter a plan. So let's click on Calculate, check out enter plan, and without any points created in the job, as soon as I enter plan, it knows right away and it creates a point number for me. Now this point number basically it's just default, and let's take a quick look at that. Let's go back out to the home screen, go to Edit Points, and then see point number 1000 here is 5,000, 5,100. Now by entering the plan, that's just a down and dirty way to create a quick point, and it does not have a description at that time. Another way to create points is to go to the map screen, bottom left here. Now I'm going to take a quick zoom extents to show our existing point here, point number 1000. But anytime in a job, if you want to just right click and create a point on the map, you can do that at any time. I'm not going to do that at this time. Now I'm in the map screen, and we're going to drop in a foundation in here real quick. I'm not going to actually do it from the map screen, but we'll go back to the home screen, and let's go to take a quick look at this foundation that we're going to drop in here. And I'm going to begin with point number 1000 at this bottom left hand corner and just go clockwise around this foundation and drop it in, what I call drop in. So under Calculate, enter plan, I can type in the point number I want to begin with, or just click from the map. You give it a direction that you want to basically traverse around the property, around the boundary. And we'll just go the distance here of our 28 feet. And I'm going to check one thing here real quick and look. I'm going to be drawing a line as I go. That looks good, so let's just measure and store this. Zoom extent so we can see this a little bit better, and zoom in. So it automatically puts you on point number 1001. I'm going to basically drop 90 degrees here and go the other distance of the house. Save that. Take a quick peek, look at my dimensions again, and let's just work around the perimeter of the foundation. Just make sure you store before you turn and go the next direction. Let's put one more point in here, then I'll speed this up a little bit and we'll close it out. So I've went around the foundation here. I'm ready to store my next point. I've got my direction and distance of 8 feet. And now I want to close back to the beginning. I don't want to store a point. I can go to the map settings icon, click on close, close the line, and then measure and store that. Now from the Enter Plan screen, we're finished with what we want to do here. If you have questions about this, refer to video number 5 where we cover the map drawing toolbar. Okay? What we're going to do is go back to the home screen, and you can search and find some of the features under like edit, points and lines to create offset points and so forth, but we're going to work directly from the map view to do that. So we have our foundation here. Let's take, for example, we want to put 2-foot offsets on each corner here. So let's do that at this time. So the first thing I want to do is select the lines that we want to offset. Alright, then we'll right click and it brings up a lot of things we can actually do here. We're going to go to create corner offsets. Now perpendicular, and notice here that the lines, this is the direction. You have an option for perpendicular offsets, bisector, that might be something you would want to do on a road that's just straight tangents, or in line if you wanted offsets in line in the direction it's going. But we'll use perpendicular and we'll use 2-foot offsets. And just make sure that you choose whether it's left or right, and again it depends on the direction that you created the lines. So here we would want left offsets if we want to be outside where they're going to dig for the footing, for example, whether it's 2 foot, 5 foot, whatever. You can put that information in here. Once you hit create, the points are saved, and now let's zoom in a little tighter here, and we have our perpendicular offset points for each of our points. Now let's zoom out and take a look here. I've got a water line coming into the property here that we want to use as an example to stake or put some points down this line and store those. Now notice here when I click on the line, you can actually see the arrows pointing from this point up to this point. So that is currently the direction of the line. And if for some reason you needed the stationing to run the opposite way, you can always right click and reverse the direction so it would run the opposite way. So you have that capability with magnet. Alright, and as I mentioned, you can go out to the main screen, go into edit and find a lot of COGO features, but a lot of this you can just left click and then right click and quickly get to anything you want to do. And one of the things a lot of people use is the point and direction. So let's use the example point and direction here from the map screen. So I had that line selected, so it's going from point number 115 to 114, and that's the direction that I reversed. You can create angle offsets or offsets right or left. If we want to just put a point on the line, we'll leave that alone. And then let's take, for example, we want to create a point that's 25 foot down that line. We hit calc, and then it shows the coordinate information and so forth. You can look at the map, and it will show you that point that's going to be created. And if that looks good, you can just save that particular point. If we wanted it at every 25 foot, we could actually just keep creating points at different intervals. Now it's not going to show this point here that we already created, but it is here. And we'll take a look at that here in just a second. And that is the point in direction functionality here. Now point in direction works pretty good, but it's a little tedious unless you're only creating just 1 or 2 points down the line. But if you want more of them faster, we will just right click, go to create points, and we will do at an interval along these tangents, and let's type in here 25 feet. So maybe we want the points along that line every 25 feet, no curves. We'll check that off, and I already have the endpoints, so I don't need endpoints. So just at interval every 25 foot. This is the first point it's going to use, and if you want you can save that to a points list. So it created 8 points down that line. And we can select a couple of them, right click, calculate inverse. There's our 25 foot. So we've got points down the line, but possibly you'd really want to create offsets from the line. So we can go back, highlight the line, come down to create, and let's click offset line here. So here's our line, starting point, ending point, stationing that it begins with, and this is our total length of the line. It's roughly about 209 feet. Notice here you have a box we can check for number of subs, and what that means is let's say, for example, we don't really need them exactly at 25 feet, but we can figure out how many segments of 25 and do that at one time. And one way to do that is let's check on the number of subs, but let's go to the calculator here and let's type in our 208 feet, 209 feet, whatever that is, and divide that by 25 feet. And notice here we have basically 8 segments. And if we want, we could put in here 8, and it would create 8 points down the line, roughly at 25 foot, but it wouldn't be exact. If you want them exact, let's go to the next screen. Here's our beginning station. Let's begin at really station number 25, and we're going to be doing 25 intervals. Our right offset's going to be 5 foot, and let's just click calculate here on that. So it created 1 point. It automatically indexed to 50. We can store our next point. And let's do 1 more point. So we've got 3 points collected here at 25 feet intervals at basically the offsets of 5 feet that you see here. Okay. So next, let's take a look at curves in general and collecting or creating points along the curve. So like always, left click, so right click, go to create points, and there's a lot of things we can do in here. I'm going to basically turn everything off, and maybe just to show you if we just needed a radius point, we'll check that to toggle that on and click next. And it comes up and it should be the next point number here. Let's hit OK, but apparently it's not picking up the sequential numbers. I'm going to just rename that to 739 and hit close. So now we have a radius point created. Let's go back to create more points, and let's uncheck our radius point, and maybe we want the point of intersection. This time it's going to pick up the point numbering, and now we have our point of intersection created. Now there's more we can actually do. Let's make sure intervals, and let's do it along the curve, and maybe you want points every 10 feet along the curve. let's uncheck over here our point of intersection and click next, and it created 6 points along the curve that we see here. Let's zoom in a little bit tighter so you can see that. Alright. Let's go back to this one more time. Let's right click on our lines. We haven't done our tangents yet of the lines coming into the curve. So let's uncheck our curve and let's click along the tangent, and we'll leave that at 25 foot. Now all these options we could have done at one time, but I just showing to you individually. So apparently there's 3 options or 3 points that was created. One on the north line, and the east-west line here is the other 2 points created. One last offset we'll do, and it's not really for points, but it's for lines. Let's left click our, let's say this was a center line of a road. Left click it, right click it, and we can create an offset of the line work. So this is the offset name. It's going to give this line a name, and we can go right or left, and let's go 25 feet for example, and just click right, and it's actually on left right now. This is right. You see the red line here. Maybe we want to put in here a 2% grade, and now we can create that. So we have our line offset there. Let's do that one more time. Create offset line work. This time let's go to the left. Same information. And then we have our line offsetted. So that concludes this video presentation. So thank you for watching. Please get out there and use some of these techniques before you lose it. Have a good day.